In 1900, almost all of Africa is owned by someone else. The map is a patchwork of empires, and the only cities with real money on them are colonial cities. At the top sits Cairo, already the largest urban economy on the continent, anchored by the Nile, by cotton, and by the Suez Canal. Behind it, a cluster of names that tells you exactly who's in charge: Cape Town, Alexandria, Johannesburg. And Johannesburg is the strange one. Just 15 years before this chart begins, prospectors struck the richest gold reef on Earth beneath it, and a city appeared almost overnight where there had been open grassland. Watch it climb. South Africa's mining cities, Johannesburg, Durban, Pretoria, pull up the board together, a whole economy built on what's dug out of the ground. This is the shape of colonial Africa. Cities built to extract and to ship out. The north belongs to Cairo and Alexandria. Trade, cotton, the canal. The south belongs to the gold and diamond cities. And the enormous middle of the continent, the future Lagos, Nairobi, Kinshasa, barely registers a single dollar on the chart. For decades, it's a contest between two kinds of wealth. Cairo, rich by sheer size, millions of people, an ancient trading capital, and Johannesburg, rich by extraction, gold pulled from 2 miles underground. Cairo holds the crown, but only just, and the gap between them stays narrow for half a century. The cities are swelling now fast, but the wealth they generate still mostly belongs to someone in London or Paris or Brussels. These are rich cities inside governed countries, the profits boarding ships and leaving. That is about to change. In 1957, Ghana becomes the first to break free. And then comes 1960, the year of Africa, when 17 nations win their independence in a single 12-month span. Almost overnight, Accra, Lagos, Dakar, Nairobi, Kinshasa stop being colonial outposts and become the capitals of their own countries. But a flag is not a fortune. The new nations inherit economies designed to export raw materials and import everything else. Independence is won. Wealth lags far behind. On the chart, Cairo and the South African cities still tower over everyone, the colonial era order outliving the colonies themselves. Then, oil. Nigeria strikes crude in enormous quantities, and Lagos begins a climb that will not stop for 50 years. A decade later, Angola does the same, and Luanda starts to rise. The geography of African money begins to bend toward whoever is sitting on top of a reservoir. At the very top, Cairo pulls away. Egypt's size simply compounds. But the South African cities, still rich, run into a wall. Apartheid. Sanctions, boycotts, isolation. Johannesburg keeps its money, but loses its momentum, frozen out of a world that is moving on without it. In 1994, apartheid finally ends, and South Africa rejoins the world. But the more important shift is happening further north. For the first time, sub-Saharan cities that aren't South African are climbing the board in earnest. Lagos, Nairobi, Abidjan, no longer rounding errors, but real economies. And then Africa's century arrives. A commodity boom, a mobile phone revolution, and the youngest, fastest growing population on the planet. African cities start expanding faster than almost anywhere on Earth. Somewhere in here, Lagos passes the South African cities, and only one city is left ahead of it. By now, Lagos is a phenomenon. 20 million people and counting. The home of Nollywood, the engine of African fintech. It locks into second place, behind only Cairo, and refuses to let go. Behind it, the whole continent files in. Nairobi, Kinshasa, Abidjan, Dar es Salaam. The chart has become genuinely continental at last. North Africa's giants, South Africa's old money, West Africa's oil and hustle, East Africa's tech, Central Africa's sheer scale. All of it on one board, and all of it growing. And here is where it lands. In 2026, Cairo is still on top. $179 billion, the eternal capital it has been for 5,000 years. But look behind it, and the order is unrecognizable. Lagos is second, Johannesburg third, Luanda fifth. An oil capital that didn't register a single dollar when this chart began. The colonial cities started this race. A completely different Africa is finishing it.